in this video. So my next task is to take the Nuxt build that I'm going to use as a layer and add modules to it that I will then use and consume in a different Nuxt app as a layer. So on screen, and I just had what I think is a big success for me. I successfully made a new Nuxt project called my Nuxt UI, and I successfully viewed content material, let's say, from that Nuxt app inside of a different Nuxt app. And my purpose here is to create a theme or a style that I can reuse in multiple Nuxt projects. And so the goal here is let's embed Nuxt UI and see if we can consume that, make sure that the Nuxt UI material is being properly injected into the browser through the other Nuxt app. So that's where we're at. I'm browsing the site at my localhost 3000. Actually, that's not running at the moment. Let's first cd into my Nuxt UI, and let's have a quick look at the folder structure there. So there's a couple of hidden folders. There's a git ignore, and then there's a package JSON that says give me Nuxt, give me view, and nothing else yet. And in the Nuxt config, I just say basics, but also let's use the compatibility version 4. What I want to do next is add in the package JSON, add Nuxt UI. So let's go over here to Nuxt UI, version 3 alpha package. And I'm just going to follow the instructions that are here for now. So in my terminal, well, I didn't want that there. I want it down here. There we go. In my terminal window, let's say pnpm add at Nuxt UI next. This is a bit experimental, but it's going to give me the version 3 alpha package of the Nuxt UI module. That will be installed either as a dev dependency or as a dependency in this app. There it is, Nuxt UI 3.0 alpha 7. Great. In this Nuxt config, wrong area, let's put it up here. I will indicate a modules key, which is an array, and in that array I will say let's use Nuxt UI. Ooh, how can I confirm this? Like, this build doesn't have an app.view, there's nothing like that. Let's just see what happens if I run dev. So in the local host now, what will happen? If Nuxt UI is working properly, we won't know because I'm not overriding the app view or right. So the content in my browser right now is being produced by the Nuxt module directly. And I want to keep this Nuxt project as bare bones as possible. I don't even want to have an app.view file in here. So what's the best way to prove that Nuxt UI is a thing? I don't like not being able to test it in this project, but I will sort that out in a moment. I believe that if I've done this correctly, I can close this app. I will cd up one level and back down into the range and then into the range Apex Nuxt project. This is where my Nuxt project is in this other file system. Here's the other file system. So let's jump down there. When I load this one, app.view will be rendered, and I believe we're going to see content in the head of the HTML document that is injected by Nuxt UI, if I've done this right and if the layer is working. So let's just see what happens. Nuxt dev in the local host. All right, so my browser is going to update in a moment, and we have a problem. Great. Cannot find Nuxt icon. Does the Nuxt UI not have that? While requiring. Well, the good news is that this error was produced because this Nuxt app is trying to draw content from the layer, which is in a different file system. I wonder if I have to run npm install. Block files up to date. It's running Nuxt prepare. That's interesting. And it failed. Cannot find module Nuxt icon. So I better not do it here. Let's go back to the other folder, which is my Nuxt UI. So cd my Nuxt UI. There's this concept called playground, which I don't fully understand. Let's see the info for now. All right, so Nuxt info. That didn't tell me much. nuxt preview, cannot find nitro. Did you run nuxt build? No, I didn't. Nuxt build. Nuxt icon server. So the nuxt icon module is there, building the nuxt nitro server. Now I'll go nuxt preview. So there it is, nuxt prepare. Now, what happens here? So there's a .output folder now with a public builds server. Now that I've built it, I wonder if the other app can now render without running into trouble about the icons, because the icon client now exists. It's interesting. App config mjs config. Let's go. So there's some colors and the icon server. All of this is produced by the UI, nuxt UI module. .output. I think in my git ignore file, I should ignore the output folder, right? Yeah. I don't think I'd want to commit that. All right, let's go to the other project now. Nuxt. Is that an error again? Yeah, cannot find nuxt icon. Nuxt prepare. Let's see. Cannot find the module. Oh, I wonder if in my package JSON, do I need to include it? My nuxt UI. Let's try it. That should be not in my workspace. No, it's already being included. So that's not the problem. I found some documentation here. You can opt into an install. So it'll install things that belong to the other layer. Now this is when I'm using a local package. Apparently this is only a problem when I'm using a local package, which I am. I'm using a package that I've built in a different folder on the same file system. So where are we? I'm going to cd into the range, into the Nuxt app inside that folder, and nuxt. So let's go, well, nuxt dev. nuxt.config from install true in the range, error while requiring the module. So that didn't work. Oh, right. It seems to be the case that, so this is a bit confusing. In range, in that folder, I have a Nuxt project called the range apex. And in that project, I want to extend using a layer that exists in the other folder on my system called my nuxt UI. I'm failing to do this because the range apex cannot find the module nuxt/icon. That's apparently because in my nuxt UI build, in my package JSON, I'm just grabbing dependencies for nuxt UI, nuxt, and view. Nuxt icon is a dev dependency of nuxt UI, not a dependency. It's a dev dependency. So it's not being exported, let's say, by this project as a usable module. It's not a module that's available for consumption in a dev environment. Sorry, in a production environment. I guess a layer, once it's consumed in another project, that's considered a production environment for the layer. Let's see if I can follow this instruction and add. So we'll say clear. All right, so the range apex, no, let's back up out of there. Inside my nuxt UI, I'll say pnpm install nuxt/icon. It'll just get the latest. It should install there it is, as a dependency now. And I'll get rid of that because I don't like doing that. So I'll just say now npm install. That'll update the lock file. Cool. I'm going to pop open another terminal window so I don't have to jump back and forth to the other folder. Let's get into the range apex. All right. So in this terminal window, I will run nuxt dev. Work. It did work, but now it's telling me that the Nuxt fonts. So let's go over here and say pnpm install at Nuxt fonts. Again, what's happening here is, so in this terminal window, I have the package JSON above. All right. In this terminal window, I don't have any. We're dealing with the other Nuxt app. I have two Nuxt projects. One of them is a layer that I'm consuming in the other. I'm repeating myself because this is a Mindbender. Nuxt fonts is there. I'll get rid of the caret symbol because I don't like that. I want to be very deliberate about the versions that I use. And now in the other Nuxt project, Is it working or not working? No, it's not working because which module is next? So color mode, fair enough. npm install nuxt.js color mode, get rid of the correct. And over here, nuxt.dev. Now I want to get rid of the install true thing I did over here. That's clearly not behaving as I hoped it would. So this little, there, get rid of that. It's of no use. That was this build over here. So vertically, I have one Nuxt project here, another Nuxt project here. It seems to be working. Let's go over to localhost. Failed. We have a failure. What's the complaint now? Worker reload. Cannot find a package. Iconify utils. Oh, am I gonna have to do this with every dev dependency? Nuxt icon server bundle mode is set to local. Is it working? So I have a 500 error. Beat node URL view use core. That's very interesting. So I wonder what that's all about. Let's go to our handy dandy. This could simply be that I don't have. What could that be? Interesting. So it built, and how would I even know that Nuxt UI is being injected? So the class dark is present, and this style stuff I think is present and this, no, not the script, but Nuxt UI colors. All this style stuff here I think is injected by the Nuxt UI module. How can I confirm that? How would I confirm that? Well, I guess I could go to nuxt.config and I could tell it to not extend my Nuxt UI. This should cause, if I was running nuxt.dev, that would rebuild. So nuxt.dev, this should rebuild. And in my HTML tag, watch this, HTML element no longer has a class attribute, and the head no longer has a style attribute that includes all those Tailwind color declarations. This is proof that, notice, I'm in the range apex nuxt.config. Now I will say to this configuration, go get the layer that has all of the Nuxt UI stuff. Go get that layer. And so now this is going to rebuild. And when it gets that layer, the Nuxt UI module in the layer will now affect the HTML output of this host Nuxt project. Here we go. So it didn't build, it didn't do all the build stuff. So the last time I ran into this challenge, what I did was I said nuxt build, and then let's say nuxt dev. I also did nuxt prepare last time. I wonder if I have to. Nuxt prepare, and then preview, no, then build, then dev. So I guess nuxt prepare, then build, then dev. Well, here, I don't know if I have to go in that sequence. Not working. Nuxt prepare. For a server called Nitro, it's not very fast. Nuxt prepare, nuxt build, let's say. Then preview. So listening on 3000. There it is. And there's the class attribute on the HTML element. And there's the style element that includes all the UI Tailwind stuff. So that appears to be working. But is it working in nuxt.dev? I hope it's working in nuxt.dev. Nuxt Nitro server took 36 seconds to build, and then the Vite server is now warmed up. And I get this interesting error in development. Views there. What's view use core? Well, I wonder if this also has to be included. Oh no. I have a feeling that any of the, so let's go to view. The dev dependencies of view are not going to be, well, no, it should be. Well, I don't know if this video was a success. I'm running into an error. So I do have a Nuxt UI, my Nuxt UI project, which is a bare bones Nuxt project. It doesn't have an app.view, nothing like that. It just imports a couple of modules like the Nuxt UI module. I wanted for that Nuxt UI module to be exposed so that I could use it as a layer in two of the other Nuxt projects, and I'm running into some challenge. First challenge, it appears that the package JSON of my layer needs to explicitly collect modules as production dependencies so that those can be exposed through this layer to the host project. The host project has nuxt and view, but I'm having a error related to view use / core only in dev mode. So if I run like nuxi, if I run nuxi preview, I run nuxi prepare, nuxi build, and nuxi preview, everything works in the browser as I thought it should. But if I run nuxi dev, it does not work as I think it should. So I don't know if I'm running into a problem here. The next thing I'm going to try to do though is stop using this Nuxt project as a layer as a local dependency. I'm going to try it as a GitHub repo and then pull that into my other Nuxt project as a package. Some of the documentation I see online indicates that should prevent some grief. Using it as a local package seems to be more difficult. We'll see.